all right. Here we go. Let's get them started. WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye coming up. Yeah, okay. All right. Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego dipping. We do so because the chains of oppression on people's minds are deep and difficult to remove. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I am Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist. Yes, indeed, ready to get it started, ready to give you some education. Yes, indeed. Yeah, buddy, that's worthy of applause. All right. You know what? Before I get it started, let me do a couple of things. First of all, get my disclaimer out the way. The views and opinions expressed on Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM, nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual. All right. That's right. We're not here to malign anybody. We're not going to bully anybody. Hopefully, we're going to open your eyes. Unfortunately, for some people, getting their eyes open makes them feel like they're being bullied or oppressed or something like that. You know what? Let me start here. Yeah. You know, I always like to talk about our history and what have you. You know, there is in mythology, there is a mythological bird known as the submerge. The submerge is rumored, or in the mythology, the submerge was supposed to have lived through 5 destructions and rebirths of the universe. Why do I bring that up? Okay, reason being, there's nothing new under the sun. That's from Hebrew scripture, from Solomon, a quote from Solomon. Okay, all well and good. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay, and I bring that up to bring you to this. I don't know I'm sure a lot of you know that there are pyramids all over the world. Okay, you want to take a look at some in Central and South America, for instance, at Chichen Itza. You will see something really amazing. You had the pyramid of Kukulkan. These structures were built long before the Mayans even arrived, okay? The Mayans learned about some of the secrets of the sounds and frequencies that are emanating from that location. Depending on where you're standing, you can hear different sounds. If you clap or make a certain noise, you get a different echo back, okay? Now, all these are nodal points on a web or matrix of energy across the Earth's surface that in ancient traditions of the West was referred to as the net. Sound familiar? Yeah. And the people in ancient Egypt that knew how to work this vibrational matrix were literally called, in documents from ancient Egypt, the masters of the net. As I bring up that there were pyramids all over the world, of course, the most famous, most well-built pyramids, of course, were in Egypt and the Sudan. Okay, if you look at the the Teotihuacan pyramid complex in Mexico, right by Mexico City, you discover something amazing. First of all, they have the same exact alignment of the three pyramids at Giza by the Great Pyramid. The second thing is that the perimeter of the sun in the Teotihuacan is exactly 50% of the height of the Great Pyramid located in Egypt. The internet is not new, okay? The internet is not new. When did you discover or find out about the internet? I think it was, for me, it was in 1979 when I joined the Air Force, when I first dealt with the internet, okay? But these pyramids across the globe were all connected, were vibrational, and those that knew how to use them were called masters of the net. WHGE 95.3 FM. Okay. Now, of course, there are genetic and fossil evidence that suggests that the earliest modern human species, otherwise known as Homo sapiens, evolved from Africa over 200,000 years ago. Presently, research spearheaded by author Vanessa Hayes, a geneticist at the Garvan Institute of Medical Research in the University of Sydney in Australia, has produced data that they believe is able to pinpoint exactly where in Africa these Homo sapiens originated. This research was conducted through genetic tracing of the E gene, otherwise known as the oldest DNA lineages on Earth. Okay, now, here's the thing. Like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. Okay? What the Western academia tries to tell us is that Africans were not world travelers. Well, actually, they were. Okay? In 1909, it was called a great hoax in the Grand Canyon in the United States. There were supposedly Egyptian artifacts found in one of the thousands of caves in the Grand Canyon. Now, you can go to the Grand Canyon and visit one cave. There's 1,000 caves in the Grand Canyon, but you're only allowed to visit one. Okay? And, of course, the quote-unquote hoax. Remember, Egyptology is not a science. It is an information control apparatus. So when the so-called discovery was made, Western academia hid it away and claimed that it was a hoax, that there was no artifacts found that were related to Egypt in the Americas. Okay, that's just ridiculous. You know, it's something that we have this affinity for Egypt. You know, and who stands out? because Egypt had many great kings. But who stands out? Ramses II, also known as Ramses the Great. He is without a doubt the most important figure in the history of ancient Egypt. When you consider that the list of pharaohs includes some of the greatest names in history, it says a lot to place Ramses at the top of the list. Okay? We had Nsoromma in the house setting us up, and we're happy. Okay? Like I said, Ramses is at the top of the list. Pharaoh Seti was Ramses' father, named Ramses II, his firstborn, Prince Regent, and heir to the throne, when he is only 14 years old. There was never any competition for the throne or his father's affection from some fictional character. Okay, a lot of y'all know what I'm saying. All right, for those of you that don't, all right, I'm sure you watched the Ten Commandments. And in the Ten Commandments, Ramses was in competition for the throne with his supposed cousin, Moses. Look at that's how little Moses means to me. I didn't even think of his name. Okay? There was no competition for his father's affection from some fictional character named Moses. As a matter of fact, due to his father's intense training, Ramesses was a military commander at 16. You know how I was doing at 16? Playing the pinball machine down the street around the corner. Now, under Seti's tutelage, he gained the skills and character to sit on the throne while he was still a teenager. Now, Ramesses sat on the throne at 25 years old and ruled until his death at 91. He ruled 66 years. And that's the longest ruling pharaoh in the history of Egypt. And he expanded the empire. He built temples, monuments, and cities. Now, I got to stop right there. Okay? He built cities. So, Ramses one day was looking at the land that, he expanded the empire. And here's this land that's not being used. So he turned to his architects, his builders. You had a master builder and what have you. He said, look at this land over here. You know what? Build me a city over there, which was called Ramesses. Okay? And they built the city. And can you imagine how deep that is? How deep that goes? For a king just to order his people to build a city. And they built this city that included government buildings, that included arenas, that included theaters, workshop, merchant businesses, that included a port. And they did it within less than 20 years. This is the skill of these people. You know what? Ramses' achievements are too numerous to list. Suffice it to say, Ramesses was the great ancestor. WHGE 95.3 FM.
They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look in the dictionary and see the
Yo, what's up? You know what it is. Good morning, everybody. The Open Eye Radio Show is about to get popping. Well, it actually is popping. Your boy is late, so you know what it is. Big up, D. What's up, Derek? Ain't nothing. Where y'all at, Shay? Vaughn? What's happening? Come on, I don't see y'all. What's good? Happy Martin Luther King birthday, too. You know what I mean? Martin Luther King was Pat Boyd.
WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Yes, indeed, we had some things to talk about. In the house, joining me on the air, my partner in consciousness, our intellectual surgeon, Nsoromma. How you doing, buddy?
Well, chop.
Oh, yeah, a round of applause for Nsoromma.
True that. What's good?
Oh, it's all good, brother. We got so much going on.
I heard you.
It's just crazy. And it's one thing that I've noticed. I'm going to give an example of this. as it last week, might have been 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I talked about a young man that was murdered. He was 13 years old. Excuse me.
Murdered?
Not a young man. He was a boy. 13 years old, that's a boy.
Child.
And I corrected that for a reason.
Right.
And the reason I corrected that is because when they deal with our children, they age them, okay? They try to make them, well, this young man,
Right,
this
make
is
them grown.
Make them grown.
When they're kids.
When they're children.
Yeah, they do that all the time to our kids.
All the time. All right?
All the time.
So this young man, white man in his pickup truck, jumped out the truck and shot this child. There's no reason, all right? And he was picked up a week later.
Right, the guy that did it.
Yeah, the guy that did it. He was charged, okay? But then he was released because he said it was self-defense.
Man, listen, man. You know what we got to start doing? Like Dr. Claude Anderson said, man. We got to start going to get these people that's doing that. Make them fearful of the things they do to our kids. You know what I mean? We have to start being our own police as black people, man, and standing up, man, for real. Because they just do whatever they want to our kids, our mothers and grandmothers. You know they already was doing what they wanted to do to black men. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, it's where does the line be drawn at? You know what I'm saying?
We have to draw the line.
They're killing our kids like nothing.
That's right, and they're killing our kids. Okay? Because another 13-year-old boy was just murdered because some cat in the neighborhood or whatever where this kid was. Right. All right. Said he was trying to steal a car, so he shot him.
So what? That ain't to be murdered? I ain't to get murdered over that.
You don't get murdered over that.
And plus, who that ain't none of your business. You know what I'm saying?
Who made you judge, jury, and execution? Right. Okay? But he was not arrested.
And that's what I'm saying. The people that do them things and don't get arrested, that's when the Black Justice League should step in and do their thing to them. You know what I'm saying? Because the White Justice League is not going to do anything to them.
Oh, no.
You know?
No.
And that's what
and that's what I'm coming around to.
Man,
which brings up this next example, which I got from Sister Tracy.
Man.
Yeah. And this next example I got from Sister Tracy to further prove this point. Okay, say her name. Devonna Walker.
Devonna Walker.
I have a cousin named Devonna, by the way, who currently lives in Pittsburgh. She's my first cousin, one of my favorite uncles' youngest daughter. Yeah.
What's up, Devonna?
Yes, indeed. Now, Devonna Walker, 29-year-old mother of three, was murdered last Monday, January 2nd, at her home in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This occurred at the Cambridge Townhomes on the northeast side of Cedar Rapids. Devonna, who gave birth to a baby girl just months ago, was fatally stabbed by a man whose identification has not been released by the Cedar Rapids Police Department. Okay? All right. In fact, the same night that Devonna was fatally stabbed, the unnamed murderer was questioned and released by local authorities. What the hell is going on? Okay.
He was released by the local authorities.
Yeah, he was released by the local authorities.
Wow.
Questioned and released by the local authorities.
Wow.
But what's going on here? I'm going to tell you what's going on here. Okay? And I'm noticing this more and more with crimes against black people across the country.
What's that, bro?
There's a refusal to prosecute these people.
Prosecute these white people.
These white people, exactly. Thank you for correcting me. That is a refusal to prosecute these white people by law enforcement across the country that murder black people.
Yeah, and that's one of the saddest things that we have to deal with in our society right now. Yeah, you know, I mean, the injustice that is how do I say it being clean? The injustice that, you know, they look at us and we're guilty as soon as they pick us up. We did it and shut up and you're going to jail for 50 years and you, that innocent person, you ain't had nothing to do with it. Then you have the white person that commit the crime, admit to the crime, and they still don't want to charge him with the crime.
Right.
And
let me go further with that.
Well, get him,
Go further with that. Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't bring the notes, so I don't remember the brother's name. Okay. But this brother was in a car accident, or car broke down or something, and he went looking for help. Called the police. Came up on the police asking for help.
Right.
The police immediate response, the cop that he came on, his immediate response was, "What are you doing here? What's going on here? You know what? Get over here up against the wall." And this man is coming for help. All right?
See, that's
It
sad,
gets
man.
worse. It gets worse. Because more cops showed up. So now this guy is like, well, first of all, before the other cops showed up, right, the brother got apprehensive about the reaction that he got when he approached this deputy, this officer.
Racist officer.
This racist officer.
Right,
This race soldier.
Right.
Okay? So he said, you know what? I think I better get out of here.
Can't do it now, baby.
No. So he was chased down.
Wow.
Now, let me see your ID. Well, I'm looking for help. My car broke down. I'm coming from a gig. I'm in trouble. Let me see your ID. You know, get up against the wall. Put your hands behind your back. And next thing you know, they done throw him on the ground. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. They threw him on the ground and they put his knee on his chest. And then while his knee is on his chest, while this one race soldier's knee is on his chest, the other race soldier tells him, turn over because I'm going to handcuff you. How the hell he going to turn over with the man's knee on his chest? Okay, if you don't turn over, I'm going to tase you.
See, man, that's why I'm really prone to that law being passed to the 10th prior that we got the right to shoot police.
Yeah.
It's just that simple because the police nowadays are really gang members and
White
racist,
supremacists.
yeah, racist people that you know, and that's their cover up to come get the black so-called people, you know, and that. And for the government to hire these people without doing background checks and stuff like that.
Here's the thing about the background check. Here's the thing about the background checks, brother. Let me tell you about that. All right? They had this one officer.
Right.
All right? They did the background check. They did the psychological evaluation. The psychological evaluation came back and said he was a narcissist and a dangerous person that should not be carrying the gun.
And they hired him.
And they hired him.
And they hired him.
They hired him.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I mean, bro.
And what did he do?
Went and killed 3-4 black people.
He at least killed one. That he did.
One that you know about.
But
that we know
one
about.
That we know about.
Yeah, you know, they do it. They do it. They ain't going to tell us.
Oh, no.
They'll tell their friends that. And they'll put them on their hands in spider webs and lines and stuff like that.
That's
I mean, they're cold.
Now, this dude that called for help.
Right.
Okay. He was tased so much that when the paramedics had to come pick him up, when the paramedics came and picked him up, he was unconscious. They took him to the hospital. He died 3 days later from cardiac arrest.
I think I seen that too. I was so mad with that video, man. Yeah. And that's what I'm. And I mean, when not just our people, when people, white, Asian, whatever, it doesn't have a color to this. Understand what I'm saying? When people see these things happening to people, they ain't got to be innocent. They can be guilty or whatever. But being killed out in the street is not justice.
Oh, hell no.
It's not the legal justice system. No. I mean, we as the people need to respond to these corrupt cops like Tupac did. You shoot them, bust them upside the head with a brick. I mean, stop the death that they're trying to inflict. You know?
Well, you know, it's a law
that just was passed
that says if a person is in distress and being attacked,
right,
and you don't do nothing about it, you can be arrested. This law has been passed in many cities,
right?
Okay, and this law is meant primarily to apply to police officers who see people being abused and don't do anything about it. Of course, this law isn't being enforced on the police officers to the level that it should.
Right.
But let me tell you about, continue to tell you about Devonna Walker. All right. She says she wants to know what's going on. Okay. Okay? She wants to know what's going on. What's going on? The harsh part is they didn't tell her that her daughter was murdered. Okay? The harsh part is no one knocked on her door. It is believed that this senseless murder, of course, was racially motivated. Could this be why the two people involved were questioned and released the same night of the murder and no follow-up with the violence family by the Cedar Rapids police? In fact, the police didn't even contact Devonna's mother, LaShawn Bowles, after Devonna was taken to the hospital the night of the murder.
Wow.
Instead, on Friday, LaShawn had to go to the police station herself, demanding answers about what happened to her daughter, whose body remained in the crime lab. They didn't even tell.
What you think about that, man? What you think about that?
Well,
I mean, just the whole thing for the police not to come.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, ma'am. My name is Sergeant Scrapple, and I just want to let you know that we found a body, and we think it's your daughter or whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, where are the police officers that
actually give a damn?
Where are they at?
Let me tell you what happens. Let me tell you what happens to police that show that they give a damn. They're ostracized. They're pushed off the police force. For instance, like the sister that stopped a cop from choking somebody.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
What happened to her?
Whatever happened to her?
Oh, she got fired.
She got fired?
Yeah, and she eventually had to sue. And she got fired just before she was getting ready to retire and get her pension.
Wow, so her time had to start over now.
No. Her pension is done, this, that, and the other. She had to sue the city and the police force to get back her pension.
Wow.
That's what happens. When a police officer actually is decent and honest, they are punished for doing so.
So they actually look for criminal people to be police officers.
You were seeing, this was seem to be the case. You know, because if you look at it, okay, what happens when you got a mob dude that helps out somebody that is caught up with a loan shark, and he approaches that loan shark and say, "Hey, man, back on." The rest of the mob gonna kill his ass. Boom!
I missed that, but I caught you. I caught you.
Yeah. You know, that's what's going to happen.
Oh man.
Okay, this is, and I tell you something.
What?
This calling for help. Okay, and it's not just the police, don't forget that. Because there was a pair of paramedics, okay?
Yeah, did you hear that? That was disgusting.
Yeah, this brother, he was in distress. He was having hallucinations and what have you. And I think it was his wife or girlfriend, whoever, that called 911 because this guy was in distress. Right. Well, he wouldn't get up. Well, you know, he's having a mental episode.
Yeah, he's messed up. He's sick.
He's going through something.
Okay.
Well, they finally, decided, and after it was a male and female team.
Right.
And you should have heard these people talking to, get your ass up. We're not going to drag you. You're going to get on this gurney or what?
Yeah,
well, they put him on the gurney face down, covered him with heavy blankets, and then tighten the straps down.
Upside down.
Yeah, he's face down on his stomach. Yeah. So what's happening is his gut is pushing his lungs, and he asphyxiated and died.
Are they charged?
Yes, they have been charged.
I think they need to be charged. If not, black people need to get together and go shoot their house up. Excuse me, my fault. I ain't even say that.
But at any rate, they need to be punished. And
man, that's crazy,
what we're
man.
coming to. And this is what we're dealing with. We cannot even call for help.
No, that's crazy.
We call for help. The likelihood is that we will be murdered either by the police, the paramedics. Look.
Oh man!
They just had a fireman.
You just see how you sound right now. Yeah. You sound just like insane saying that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But
look, the fire department.
Wow,
they had a
messy
fireman.
Man. That's messy, man.
They had a fireman on the fire department. All right, and he's online putting out all kind of racist stuff and this, that, and the other. And if a ninja sets their house on fire, their house gets on fire, they need to burn.
Oh my God!
This is what we're dealing with.
Wow!
This is why we do the open eye. WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yaga.
All right.
Yo, What's good? There y'all go. Sharon, Gerard, Tracy, Missy,
Right.
Lisa, Sheila, Jabbar. Yo, what's good? Hey, yo, if y'all got people that y'all need to take care of, we got the new home care home in Delaware, and we can help. We can pay you to take care of your significant other, loved one, autistic child, however it go, we can help. Call right now. You see the number? 302.
WHGE 95.3, The Open Eye, with Patrice and Nsoromma.
Yeah.
All right. We here. Look, yeah. This is how slimy this stuff is we dealing with. All right.
Right.
This is how messed up things are. Mhm. The Arizona prison is accused of inducing prisoners against their will. Okay.
Inducing prisoners with what?
Okay. 3 women say they were pregnant. They were induced against their will while incarcerated at the Perryville prison in Buckeye, Arizona.
Okay.
3 women have come forward with serious allegations against the Perryville prison in Buckeye, Arizona. According to the reports from the Arizona Republic, the 3 women were forcibly induced against their will before their due dates.
Wow.
It's worth noting that NAFCARE, which took over the prison's healthcare contract in October, denied having a policy of forcing inductions. However, according to the Arizona Republic, which reviewed the women's medical records,
right,
all 3 women were induced before their due date, so they're goddamn lying.
Boom!
Yeah. 2 of the women, Stephanie Pearson and Desiree Romero, were induced at 39 weeks in 2022.
Wow.
And Joycelyn Hefner, another woman who came forward, was induced at 37 weeks on 2 separate incidents in 2020 and 2022. Wait a minute. I got to slow up right here.
Right.
She was induced in 2 separate occasions in 2020 and 2022. She's in prison. She's knocked up twice in prison. You get knocked up the second time. You went in pregnant and you got okay. All right, I don't know what the hell's going
that's
on
what
there.
They do. They be raping women and all that stuff in prison, man. That's one of the worst ghettos that they got out there.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Because what you know what I consider most prisons.
What?
Yeah, right. Land-based slave shit.
Definitely that there. Definitely. And it's all designed around that also.
Yes, indeed.
Rock Bay.
Yeah, that's word. Well, Joycelyn Hefner said she was induced twice against her will.
Wow.
And she felt like she was viewed as a liability walking around the prison yard 9 months pregnant.
Wow.
And which didn't comfort the state institution. All right? Now, I'll tell you something.
What, bro?
This touches the history of how bad it has been. Okay? Because some of these prisons, okay, the prison officials, state legislators, and what have you, all right, they considered these women as unworthy of carrying children, of having children. So what they would do is, what do you call that? They would make them infertile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they would, cut their fallopian tubes, so they couldn't have children.
That's like castrate.
Yeah.
Basically. Scrape out their guts.
Yeah.
Hysterectomy. That
for someone that didn't need it.
Right, for someone that really didn't need it.
That's what
you come in healthy with all your stuff, and then you come out stripped.
Yes.
And then sometimes they'll go in you and take all of that stuff and sell it.
Yeah. Now, here's what's crazy about that, because it all comes in with the, euthanizing.
Right.
Women. Okay. In North Carolina, for years, all right, the state health board decided that certain women were not qualified to birth and raise children. Okay. So
how did they come up with that?
Oh, well,
who were the certain women?
Who were the certain women?
Yeah,
if you were black and poor, if you were black and educated, you were dangerous. If you were poor and white and what have you, you were considered not worthy of bringing children into the world.
Wow.
Because you were bringing children into the world that were not going to make a contribution.
Wow.
And this is, so they did this, they euthanized these women up into, well into the 70s and what have you. This is how evil these people are.
And a lot of this stuff is going on in our lifetime, man.
In our lifetime.
That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, because I was a teenager in the 70s when this was going on.
Because you would think that this stuff happened hundreds of years ago, and the way we talking about it, you'll think, wow, that couldn't have been going on like presently and recently. But yes, it has, and it is,
talking about
man.
Stuff that's going on even now.
Now, that's crazy, man.
That's what, because you have some of these southern states and some of these midwestern states that have healthcare systems that are the most evil healthcare systems in the world.
Yeah, for blacks.
For blacks.
I mean, it's a good healthcare system for everybody else.
Not for us. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. We got plenty more for you. Stay tuned.
Yo, Rock Bay Hop, what's up? Hey, yo, Jared. I know, man. Mike said they don't really care about us based on the lack of response that it seems that we got. We don't really care about us either. So I feel you on that, son. We got to do it ourselves, for ourselves. And by the people, for the people, which is the black people. Believe that. We need to start doing that. I'm with you with that. All the way. 100%. You did?
WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yaga.
And it goes on and on. How many times has this happened? Because it happened again.
What, Pat?
All right.
Mr. Gibbs.
A former customer, a U.S. bank based in Minnesota, has filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against the bank. According to KSTP-TV, the federal lawsuit claims that the bank is guilty of breach of contract, defamation, violating federal civil rights, and emotional distress. Well, what just the hell did they do?
Everything.
Oh, yeah. Peter Wagba used to have a business account at U.S. Bank until the police were called on him when he attempted to get funds in the form of a cashier's check from his own account.
How ridiculous is that, man?
Bank employees at a branch in Bloomington, Minnesota, repeatedly turned the customer away in December of 2021. There was a white person, that person would have been treated differently than me. No kidding.
He just got money out of an account that ain't even his. He could have robbed the bank.
And wouldn't have been treated like this, brother.
Wow.
I felt, and the brother said he felt like he was treated as a criminal, even though he bringing in business. I'm doing business with them.
Right.
I want them to change the way they treat people and the way they do business with black people. Brother, that ain't going to happen. Find another goddamn bank. Boop.
I say burn it down.
Burn it down. Yeah. Bank employees later apologized to Wagba. However, in court documents, U.S. Bank continues to deny racial discrimination.
He said he apologized.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to deny it, but I'm going to apologize. Yeah. So the apologize is you admitting that you did it.
Exactly.
So what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? You can take your apology and stick it. All right?
All the way.
All the way. Because I'm like this, all right? If you slap me and then apologize, my face still stinks.
So always say that too.
And so that apology don't mean a damn thing to me. That's what. And the only reason you apologize is you got caught on your crap. You know how many people I had roll up on me and say, oh, well, I'm sorry about what I did. Or you wouldn't have been sorry if I was not the type of person to call you on your crap.
See, I don't let that brother Pat. I will knock your head off, and I'll be accepting your apology, giving you a right cross or uppercut. You're getting one of them, and I go, okay, I'm sorry too.
No,
you understand?
Yeah, here's the thing. All right, I ain't apologizing. See, I was raised to think, and before I act, I think. Right. So I thought it through and decided that your ass needed to be whipped. All right, and I ain't apologizing for that.
I apologize because my response might be more than what you expected.
Yeah, okay.
Or more than what the scene calls for. You know what I'm saying? I go all the way to the end of that. I'm going to get to the business.
Yeah. Man, I'm going to tell you something. All right? I go from 0 to 135 in a second. When it comes to some racial crap.
That's something I can't stand. I can't stand that.
Now, like I said, they apologize, you know, despite other claims by black customers of racial discrimination. Mm-hmm. One of those customers, Joe Merle, was arrested at U.S. Bank in Columbia Heights, Minnesota in 2020 while trying to cash his $900 paycheck.
Wow.
Now, the brother ain't coming in there taking out $100,000. He come to get $900 paycheck so he could pay his bills and get some food and what have you.
No, how you gonna tell me I can't get my money?
Yeah, the bank staff looked at his check. He knew they thought the valid check was fake, you know, and body cam footage showed the exchange. They all looking at me, and it's $900. This ain't no, you know, crazy amount of money, you know. And they just staring at him and then looking at the check and then staring at him and looking at the check. Like, you know, the check is going to show that, you know, oh, this check don't match his face. Because you know what? This is a white man's check. That's what it is. It's a white man's check. And this ninja standing up here ain't got no business with it. Wow. And this kind of crap goes on. It was a couple of weeks ago. Wow, a black cop, at a training event.
I remember you mentioning that.
Pocket full of money. The white guy come up and arrested him.
And he got the money from the betting on the football games. He had one, I think. I don't know how he got it, but
however he got it, this white cop decided that as a black man, he had too much money, and black people ain't supposed to have that much money. So he rolled up on him, assaulted him, and arrested him. Now, I'm a cop standing up there with a gun. We would have had a real bad situation had it been me. Because I would have defended myself with that gun and being a cop. And I would have felt justified in defending myself since this cop rolled up on me and decided that I, as a black man, was not supposed to have that kind of money. Ain't nothing a cracker with a penny and more than a black man with a nickel. WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye.
Yo, do you hear your boy? Do you hear your boy going in today? Adrian, what's up? Oh my God, the boy snapping. Niece, you still here? Okay, I see you.
All right. We're gonna get back to it. I'm gonna hit that Dr. King thing.
You got blank space on.
Oh shoot! Wait a minute. Okay, hey. All right, y'all. We back. All right. I got a little excited there.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little excited there.
Calm down, bro. Calm down.
Yes, indeed.
844-WHGE 953. Hit us up. Call in and talk to us.
Yes,
let us know
indeed.
what's on your mind.
Let us know. All right, now I'm gonna play this from Dr. King again before I go into this.
All right.
What? Here we go.
Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language.
Listen.
They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. It's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry. Yes, I'm black. I'm proud of it. I'm black and beautiful.
Yes, indeed. I'm black and beautiful. You know what? Let me tell you something.
What, bro?
Tomorrow will be January 15th, Dr. King's actual birthday. He would have been 94 years old. Okay, your brother was murdered when he was only 39. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen Monday. Monday is when Dr. King's birthday will be celebrated. It's a holiday. It's a day off for most of us and what have you. Okay. And those of us that are taking the day off, some of us, they're going to, attend church services and what have you. But what's really going to happen is, what they say is we're going to have a day of service, of course.
Service?
Yeah, because Dr. King served his community. He served humanity. So we're going to have a day of service in order to honor Dr. King. And for some of y'all, that's the only goddamn time you service anybody. And most of you just socialize your way through Dr. King's holiday. It's a social event where y'all get together and laugh and talk and drink coffee and smoke cigarettes. And some of y'all get together and drink liquor and talk smack. Mm-hmm. So I'm not impressed with the way a lot of people claim they celebrate Dr. King's holiday.
I mean, out of all the things that Dr. King represented, what has been put to paper that really benefits black people? Mm. I mean, what has been established that he did through all of his speeches and all the things that he was known for have in position affected us in a good way? Mm-hmm. I mean, do you know anything
and that's the thing,
holiday that's not his birthday?
Mm-hmm. I mean, and do you know anything beyond "I Have a Dream"? Okay, and do you know what the original title of the "I Have a Dream" speech was? It was "Never Again." That's not some kumbaya crap.
Right. He started switching up on them, and that violent Martin. That non-violent Martin was beginning to be with Malcolm. Yo, Malcolm, look, I need your help.
Well, see, you know what? Here's the thing.
He was turning, wanting the money. He was going after the money for our reparations.
Yeah. But see, Dr. King, he was woke from the jump. Okay. Because one part of that "I Have a Dream" speech, which y'all never talk about, okay, was the part where he said the black man came to America for his check, and it came back insufficient funds.
Right.
We want our money, okay? And what he said, let me get with this, all right? He gave a brilliant interview in 1967. It's 56 years ago.
Wow.
All right? And he was explaining the concepts we recognize today as structural or systemic racism and generational poverty.
Right.
Okay. You have to make a distinction between the people who are genuinely and absolutely committed in the white community on the question of racial equality. This is what Dr. King said. And I must confess that I think they are a very small minority.
It is.
I think the vast majority of whites in America will go but so far. It's a kind of installment plan for equality. And they are always looking for an excuse to go but so far. That's what Dr. King said.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. He was asked, why are they looking for an excuse? What is it about the Negro? Every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black? Well, that's part of it. Dr. King responded to that. And growing, that grows out of something else. You can't thingify anything without depersonalizing that something. Understand what he's saying here. If you use something as a means to an end, at that moment, you make it a thing and you depersonalize it. The fact is that the Negro was a slave in this country for 240 years.
Wow.
That was a willful thing that was done. The Negro was brought here in chains, treated in a very inhuman fashion.
The Negro was kidnapped and brought here in chains.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And this led to the thingification. Damn, Dr. King.
The what thingification?
The thingification of the Negro, meaning they made the black man a thing.
Right.
So he was So he was not looked upon as a person. He was not looked upon as a human being with the same status and worth of other human beings. And the other thing is that human beings cannot continue to do wrong without eventually rationalizing that wrong. So slavery was justified. Morally, biologically, theoretically, scientifically, everything else. And it seems to me that white America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma, and that can never be overlooked. So I think these things are absolutely necessary. The other thing is that America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation, Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality. As a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West, in the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give white peasants from Europe an economic base.
Wow.
And it yet refused to give this black peasant from Africa who came here involuntarily in chains, as Nsoromma said, kidnapped, and had worked free for 244 years. And any economic base, and so emancipation for the Negro is really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white America tells the Negro to lift himself up by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves up by our own bootstraps. But it's a crude jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself up by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands of millions, have been left bootless as a result of all these years of oppression. And as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading. Dr. King said he's black and he's beautiful. Yes, indeed. And you know,
what?
I have to tell you, one of the things, Dr. King, of course, was one of the most eloquent men to ever speak on the world stage.
Right.
Okay? Now, I saw this brother, and this brother said that he had problems coming up because he had friends and relatives that said he spoke white. And some black people shunned him. Because
for being eloquent.
For being, for quote unquote speaking proper English.
Yeah.
When he didn't have the African American vernacular English. Okay? And the reason being for this particular young man, okay, was because he initially grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. And so his diction and articulation was more akin to a white person. Right? Now he considers himself eloquent. Now, one of the things he said was that his mother was a corporate exec and his father was, his father was a fireman or something.
Right.
Okay? And what they didn't allow was him to speak, quote unquote, bad English.
Broken English.
Yeah.
So-called.
Yeah, so-called. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. Like I said, Dr. King was without a doubt one of the most eloquent speakers ever, as was Malcolm. Okay? But there was no doubt in your mind when you heard these brothers speak that they were black men. Okay? I can code switch and get on the phone and sound like a white person.
Almost definitely.
Okay? I consider myself well-spoken. All right? But when I speak, there's no doubt that I am a black man. I speak from that vernacular. Okay? I have African American vernacular English, the same as Dr. King and Malcolm X. Okay, but we got some of our people, okay, that speak so-called proper English.
Right.
Okay, and look at black people that they consider speaking broken English, look down on them, like this guy's parents. Right. So he was messed up. Right. He was messed up into believing that because if you listen to some white people speak, okay, their grammar is very poor.
Oh yeah, I watch them all the time on YouTube and things that I watch. I mean, they some of the dumbest people in the world also.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
no color on gullibility.
No, no, and there's no color on whether you speak eloquently.
Right.
Okay, and whether you speak well enough to communicate That's the key, is whether you're able to communicate your ideals in such a way that is palatable and people can understand and take it in.
Right. Now, I'm like this. If you can close your eyes or be on the other end of that phone, and I can be a black man but sounding white, and you get along with me just fine
On the phone.
Until you see me, and when you see me, now you got a problem.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that happens all the time. So if you can put it off aside and while I'm on the phone, you can put it off.
That's right.
You are controlling that.
Oh yeah.
You
remember Dave O'Connell?
Dave O'Connell. Yeah. I do.
Right. No, I worked in the O'Connell Speedy Printing. I was his general manager.
Right.
No, interesting thing is, we both answered the phone when customers would call.
Right.
And I would answer the phone sometimes and, hi, O'Connell Speedy Printing, can I help you? Hey, is this Dave? Oh, no, this is Patrice. What can I do for you? Wow, well, I would say this is Pat.
Right.
And they would assume that I was Pat O'Connell. And I had people say, wow, you sound just like your father. I would laugh and say, yeah. You have to stop around and see how much I look like him. Yeah.
The deception, man.
The deception, And some of our people get caught up in that deception, right?
Right.
Thinking that, that they're above other black people because they speak in a certain way, what have you, or they've been fortunate enough, okay, to
Africans took on that stigma against us as black people in America. American black people and African black people, they got a little beef going on. I'm like, well, how do you got beef going on with your own people? And they come to America.
The thing is, it's on both sides of that.
They come to America and because they got these degrees and you get you a doctor and that ain't give. You are still in the eyes of the white man
one of us. That's right. And some of us don't realize, and some of them don't realize that.
I don't get it.
Fortunately, we have a lot of them that do. Like, for instance, the president of Ghana,
he's a beast. I love him.
Who reinstated their Return to Africa program. Okay. Now, the reason I bring this up about vernacular and this, that, and the other, and the fact that we had some black people that tried to move away from their blackness and move into acceptance by the mainstream and move into assimilation. Okay, I've related the story before, okay, but I want to relate it again because I've seen so much of this. This is called mainstream. After graduating from college, he was recruited by one of the largest, most prestigious investment firms in the country. He was one of only 3 Negroes in the entire firm and the first Negro investment counselor. The salary was the same as any white entry-level employee would have received. He lunched with his fellow investment counselors daily and talked shop. Now and then, he'd run into a bigot. Usually, he would ignore the whole situation. Sometimes one of the white guys stood up in his defense. Eventually, he became immune. Blacks were making great strides, and the firm was moving with the times. 30% of the employees were black. He was called in for a big promotion. The first black senior investment counselor in the business. Man, life was great. He was a member of the country club, a registered Republican, attended an integrated Episcopal church. His was a 2-car family with a beautiful home in the suburbs. He had assimilated quite well. It must have started the day his son told him how they learned about the continents in school that day. How his teacher told his classmates they were from Ireland, Italy, and Poland, and Europe, but could only tell him he was from Africa. Where in Africa, Dad? His son asked eagerly. He told his son all about slavery, how we were stolen from the motherland, and were probably somewhere in West Africa, Ghana, or the Ivory Coast, maybe Mali. He told him about segregation and Martin Luther King Jr., and how much our people were progressing. Okay?
Yeah.
We can vote, and our equal rights are protected by law. Soon all Afro-Americans would be able to share in the American dream. Well, his son accepted the answer and was off to play. But he wondered if his answer was satisfactory. Well, maybe when his son got older, they would trace their roots back to Africa. Maybe. Well, one evening, on his way home from the club, he was pulled over by a law enforcement officer. He could have been speeding. These late model luxury cars have cruise control.
Right.
So what could be the problem? The officer asked if he could search the car. He was frisked and detained while his license was checked. A humiliating experience for a man of his position. However, the immunity he built up over the years sustained him, and he never once complained. But the incident made him think about what he told his son about the American dream. For the first time since he graduated college, he glimpsed a crack in the myth. For the first time, he wondered if Afro-Americans would ever really be accepted in the society. For the first time, someone breached the wall of assimilation he built around himself and made him feel the pain of identity crisis that is so common amongst our people. Maybe he had excelled far too well at integration. The more he thought about his son, the more he questioned his own identity. He questioned everything from his choice of friends, the majority of which were his white co-workers, to his religion. Did Christ really look like the effeminate carpenter depicted in Da Vinci's Last Supper? The questions were endless, and he never fully recovered from the crisis. He stopped going to the club. He stopped going to church. He alienated his friends, and his career stagnated because he had tried to separate the important social aspect of his career from his personal life.
Right.
Another soul lost in the rushing currents of the mainstream.
Wow.
Old habits die hard. Though many of his questions remain unanswered, he remained a staunch advocate of integration and couldn't understand why his son chose to attend Howard instead of Harvard. His son majored in marketing and minored in African studies. He could not understand why after graduating college, his son moved into the city, opened an African import shop, and started a community center for inner city teens.
Okay.
Junior recruited his fellow grads to assist in teaching his job training program. He never knew his son had vowed never to be like him. That's sad.
Wow.
He would teach his own children everything he knew about his heritage, his son. And they would never abandon the community that spawned them. And most importantly, he would never lose his identity in the murky waters of the mainstream. WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye, right here. My friend Nsoromma in the house.
True that.
That's what it is.
Hey, yo, bro, what about if this is a scenario? What if it was on tomorrow and it was a black and white war? Do they really know how many black people in the world? Because I don't think they do. Like, take a look around, white people. And how many black people around you if a war was to break out right now? How many black people do you have around you if it was a racial war to erupt? Would you really be caught up in it?
You know what? Let me tell you something, brother.
Huh?
Here's the thing. We are called minorities, but we are not the minority in the world. We're the
Yes,
majority in the world.
I know that.
Yeah.
You know, there's
But
nowhere
let me
you
tell
can't
you
go
something
that
else.
you won't see a black person unless it's in a white person's house.
Yeah. Let me tell you something else. There's a video that's been recently going around.
And what's that?
All right. And it's a group of, mixed group, mostly white people.
Right.
Okay. And their ass, boom. Their ass, boom. I mean, they ask a question.
Okay.
The African American vernacular English. All right? They ask a question.
Right.
That if you, would you rather be a white person in a black neighborhood in need of help, or would you rather be a black person in a white neighborhood in need of help? Okay?
What?
All right, yeah. So this is what they ask. Everybody in the room, if you would rather be a white person in a black neighborhood in need of help, come to this side of the room.
Oh, okay.
Everybody that would rather be a black person in a white neighborhood, go to this side of the room.
Ain't nobody on the other side.
White people, all the white people went over that side of the room. What that tell you?
I tell you, they know.
They know.
Exactly, man. They know what they doing, and they helping applying it, and they don't playing their part, and that's sad.
And they know who they are, and a lot of them know who we are.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. This is the reason that we need what I call for every week.
What you call for, bro? I'm gonna get you to say your thing, cause you.
Global African supremacy, because the world was a hell of a lot better place when black people ruled the world. All right. As we always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority
who treat you as an option.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Open up.
Yaga. Yo, what's up? You know what it is. Our time comes so fast, you know what I'm saying? Once again, if you got somebody that you taking care of and you need financial help and financial support, link up with Care at Home of Delaware. You know what I'm saying? Call, and we probably can help you out. You dig? Can you see the number? 302-502-7138. 302-502-7138. Care Home of Delaware. You dig? Nsoromma streaming all platforms. Pat, you ready?
Yes, sir.
We done? Sir. All right, I can get this up.
Yep.
Hey, also streaming all platforms too. Nsoromma and Patrice Gibbs. You know what I'm saying? Get them.
All right. Like I always tell you, global African supremacy. We are not new in the world. As a matter of fact, we are the first people. We know that. The world was a much better place when we ran the planet. Join me. Peace.
Peace.